So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone around the world, and good morning, everyone out here and those who are watching on YouTube. So, I feel most of you know about what is EMF. So, EMF, my topic is EMF, what, why, and how. And don't confuse itself with, don't confuse this particular EMF with electromotive force. This is electromagnetic field. So we will be discussing about electromagnetic field which we are facing every day, and we are surrounded by these electromagnetic field which is beneficial also, and it is having some health hazards also. So let's proceed. So what is meant by EMF? An area of electric and magnetic forces caused by electromagnetic radiation. So researchers are studying whether the EMF from power lines, electrical appliances, or wireless and cellular phones can cause cancer or other harmful effects. So it is called electromagnetic field. So should we be worried about EMF exposure? Electric and magnetic fields occur naturally also, and they also come from human-made sources. So scientists, oversight agencies generally agree that low-frequency EMF exposure pose little danger to health, but there are dangers. Let's discuss. Most of us are used to electronic convenience of modern life, but few of us are aware of the possible health risks presented by the gadgets that make our world work. Our power lines, cell phones, microwaves, Wi-Fi, routers, computers, and other appliances send out a stream of invisible energy waves. Electric and magnetic fields, EMFs, are produced anywhere electricity is used, including at home and in workplace. Some experts are concerned about potential health effects from these fields. So we are worried. Yes, most of you are just doesn't know. Okay, it's okay. It is making our life simple, but we should be worried. Most researchers don't believe that the EMF are dangerous, but there are still people and scientists who question the safety of EMF exposure. Many say there hasn't been enough research into understanding whether EMFs are safe or not. So what are EMF? I already told you, since the beginning of the universe, the sun has sent out waves that create EMF or radiation. At the same time, the sun sends out EMFs. We can see its energy radiating out. This is visible light. At the turn of 20th century, electric power lines and indoor lighting spread across the world. Scientists realized that the power lines supplying all that energy to the world's population were sending off EMFs, just like the sun does naturally. Over the years, scientists learned that many of the emerging electrical appliances also create EMFs. As the medical world advanced, much of its diagnostic and treatment equipment like imaging devices for X-ray and CT scan were also found to make EMF. Today, 90% of world's population has access to electricity and uses electrical appliances. That means lot of electricity and EMF are created around the world. But even with all those waves, EMF are a health concern. So types of EMF exposure. Now radiation across what's called electromagnetic spectrum. This radiation ranges from very high energy, that is high frequency on one end of spectrum to very low or low frequency on the other end. So there are examples of high energy radiation, which are X-rays, gamma rays, some high energy ultraviolet rays. This is ioning radiation, meaning this energy can affect cells on the atomic level by removing an electron from an atom or ionizing it. Ionizing radiation can damage the body's DNA and cells, which may contribute to genetic mutation. And we have many examples of these. I would say there's one example of one of my colleagues' son who was working with the this thing radiation machine. So though he was using it for others with the protection also, he started developing the problem of low white blood cell. Then he started having weakness and all. And when test was done, so WBC count was very low, which was not advisable to be on that machine all the time. So he quit the job and avoided radiation from that particular machine. And of course, those who are receiving the radiation, that is different because they will receive it once in a while, like cancer patient, they will receive the radiation once, or CT scan is going on once in their 6 months. It is advised only for after 6 months you should do another CT scan. But he was doing it continuously for whole day for others. And that time the radiation was too much for him and his white blood cell started dropping. So this exposure where body's DNA is damaged, the cells are damaged, it contributes to genetic mutation and cancer. So it might, at later stage of his life, it could have turned into a kind of cancer. On the other end of the spectrum, there is extremely low frequency radiation. This is type of non-ionizing radiation. It can move atoms around in the body or make them vibrate. But most researchers agree that it isn't enough to damage DNA cells. So when the low frequency radiation is there, then it is safe for human beings or people around, all the living objects around them. In between this low frequency radiation and high energy radiation on the spectrum are other types of radiations like radio frequency. These are low frequency radiation. So radio frequency radiation, visible light, infrared, electric and magnetic fields join as one field in most forms of radiation, and the result is called an electromagnetic field. But the electric and magnetic fields in ELF radiation can act independently also. So EMF and ELF both act independently. So we use the term magnetic field or electric field to refer to these two different kind of ELF radiations. In summary, there are two types of EMFs that you might be exposed to: high frequency and low frequency. This is high frequency. This is ionizing type of radiation. Scientific literature agrees that large exposure can damage DNA or cells. Medical devices like X-ray, imaging machines, CT scan produce low levels of this type of radiation. Other sources include gamma radiation from radioactive elements and UV radiation from either tanning beds or the sun also. Low to mid frequency EMFs, this is non-ionizing type of radiation. It is mild and thought to be harmless to people. Household appliances like microwave oven, cell phones, hair dryer, washing machine, as well as power lines and MRIs produce this type of radiation. This category of EMF include extremely low frequency EMF, and radio frequencies. Non-ionizing EMF come from both natural and human-made sources. So Earth's magnetic field is an example of a natural EMF. Human-made EMFs are classified into two types, both generated by non-ionizing radiation, that is extremely low EMF, and it is generated by a variety of sources, including power lines, electrical wiring, personal appliances like electric shaver, hair dryer, and electric blanket. Then radio frequency radiation. This is non-ionizing radiation field. It is emitted from wireless devices like cell phones, smart meters, tablets, laptop, computers. It is also generated by radio and television signals, radar, satellite stations, and MRI machines. So I will come to it later on what you should do. Now, sources of radiation. EMF exposure intensity decreases as you increase your distance from the object that is sending out the wave. Some common sources of EMF that emit varying levels of radiation include non-ionizing radiation, microwave oven, computer, smart meter, wireless routers, that is Wi-Fi routers, with cell phone, Bluetooth devices. They are also a big radiation source. Power lines, MRI machine. Ionizing radiation, that is ultraviolet rays. This is natural one. Ultraviolet light radiation, UV radiation, comes naturally from the sun and from man-made sources like tanning beds and phototherapy and welding torches. The X-rays and gamma rays are also there. This type of radiation comes from both natural and human-made sources. Natural sources include radon gas, Earth's radioactive elements, cosmic rays that hit Earth from beyond the solar system. So we are already discussing so many things from the universe and connection with the universe in the spiritual fest. So you can join in to know more about it. So, and then cosmic rays that hit Earth from beyond the solar system. Human-made sources include medical X-rays, CT scan, and cancer treatment. As you know, cancer nuclear medicines are given, and chemotherapy is given, then radiation is given. That's why it affects the body and you have many side effects. Then researches on harmfulness. Now let's see, there is a lot of disagreement in scientific literature over whether EMF pose a danger to health and human health, and if so, to how. So International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified non-ionizing EMF in radio frequency group as group 2B, a possible human carcinogen. These fields are produced by electronic products like cell phones, smart devices, and tablets. This organization operates under WHO. So most of the scientists around the world evaluate the cancer risk presented to humans by environmental and lifestyle factors. So this evaluation pointed to a possible link between radiation and cancer in people, particularly glioma, a malignant type of brain cancer. This conclusion means that there could be some risk. The link between cell phone use and cancer risk needs to be carefully monitored, but there are evidences that when we use long-term these phones and heavy use of mobile phone, we are affected in some ways or other. So there's already enough evidence of harm from long-term, low-level exposure to non-ionizing radiation that IARC should upgrade the classification to Group 1, that is known as carcinogen. Now, these researchers began substantial research into potential links between cell phone and cancer in 2000. You must have heard about it, must have read about it. It came out in bold in all the news channels and newspapers and all the other social medias also. So they said that they started to compare the cell phone users and non-users. There were evidences that people got some kind of cancer by using a cell phone on one side. When they are using phone continuously on right side, they will get some cancer on this side of the brain or head. So gliomas are more often found on the same side of the head that people use to speak on phone. So researchers said that connection is there, but not strong enough because many people will not get it, but some people will get. Like coronavirus, some people did not get. They were exposed to the virus, but did not get it. But some people got it, and it was like epidemic. Yes, as you know. Why some people didn't get it? Because of their strength, their DNA was strong, or they were taking proper precautions, and maybe their body was very strong. So scientists analyzed the data over 2 decades and found that people exposed to high level of extremely low frequency magnetic fields over a long duration showed an increased risk of myeloid leukemia, that is a type of leukemia in adults. So this is also one of the reasons when they are exposed to this low frequency vibration of EMF. So scientists also uncovered a connection between leukemia in children also. So it can be caused amongst the children also. There need to be more of research to be done, but there are evidences that it causes cancer, that is blood cancer. Now, there are more studies, more than 24 studies on low frequency EMF suggest that energy fields may cause various neurological and psychiatric problems in people, even in children also. I've seen most of the children are using cell phones for playing video games and all. I have one of my relative's son. He was 6 or 7 years old and he started having fits. That time he was using, since his childhood, he was using phone to play video game, and he used to throw tantrums to use the cell phone. Though the parents were not giving it, but they have to give it because he was throwing a lot of tantrum. So when they took him to doctor, he fainted it so many times. So they took him to doctor, and doctor said, neurologist said, you have to stop using the phone because it was giving some problem in his brain circuit, brain electrical circuit. So he used to have this problem. So you have to be very careful to give phone or any kind of electronic devices. Nowadays, so many different toys has come which have electromagnetic wave. In our olden times, we used to give some mechanical toys with no electricity and no modern kind of electronic things in it. So nowadays, they have remote control cars or remote control things and a little TV and artificial this computer and so on. So you should avoid giving them that. Instead of that, you give them mechanical toys which doesn't emit any kind of magnetic waves. The short bursts of magnetic energy, which is called EMP, can also affect nerves. And it has been found that it has affected the nerves in the rats, lab rats, but it affects the human being also. This is the proof enough that it affects the neurological system or nerve system of our body. So it can affect cognitive ability and may induce pathology similar to Alzheimer's disease, Alzheimer or Parkinson. So you have to be very careful while using gadgets. Then there are researches which suggest that body's tissues and nervous system may be affected by the heat generated by RF EMF. That is, that heat which comes from the cell phone and affects the body tissue heating and nerve activity. Now, when you are using laptops on your lap, that also affects your sexual health also and nerve health also. So they have so many different, different kind of ill effects. Don't be scared. We will tell you how to prevent them also. So radio frequency EMFs might contribute to neurological cognitive disorder also. And there, of course, there are less number of research, so we can't say it for for sure, but there are considerable effect on these nerves and neurological problems. Most of the studies says there are symptoms of some of the EMFs which is around us. So how it affects our human body, how it affects us, how we will know that these are the symptoms of EMF, headache, tremor, then you have dizziness, then there will be memory loss, loss of concentration and sleep disturbance. Then there are danger levels of EMF exposure, which are monitored and enforced at global, national, and local levels in a patchwork procedure by multiple organizations, depending upon where you live. So somewhere in some countries, there are, rules laid out how to go about the laying of the electrical power lines and so many other things where they have to take certain precautions, like in cell phones also, we have certain level of frequency level which is mentioned in and it is mandatory to mention how much radiation it is emitting or whether it is safe for it or not. They have to get it approved from the government. Internationally, the primary guidance on radio frequency EMF coming from the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, that is ICNIRP. And it bases its guideline and over the many years and with the help of scientific researchers and literature that there are ill effects on health. And is also recognized by WHO. So WHO in 2020 updated the international ICNIRP, and they said electromagnetic fields ranging from 100 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz are to be limited. So you have to, there is a guideline, but some countries, don't go by it, and you should be careful, and you should find out how, the measurement as per the specification written on the gadgets. So people at work shouldn't be exposed to current, electrical, densities on bodies, neck, and head and trunk to larger than 10 MA to 2 MA, right? The basic restriction. The lower limit of 2 MA and 2 MAM to 2 is given for the general population to account for children and people who may be more sensitive. So this is 10 mAh is 10 milliampere per meter square. So this is the electric current density. So this shouldn't be too high. It should be under this limit. So all the countries, most of the countries take care of it. Then Environment Protection Agency also coordinates EMF exposure recommendation in most of the countries. So there are many agencies which are taking care and they are guiding people, the head of the country, to minimize the EMF in their country. Now, here are some controls which are being exerted on. There are some controls which are being followed by different countries. There are about the electronic devices. It is standard for all the electronic devices emitting non-ionizing or ionizing radiation. There is a particular limit which countries follow. Cell phones also, they have cell phone towers and cell phone which should be under a certain limit. There was a lot of halla and lot of hallabo on cell phone towers, and it is said that sparrows and small birds are not able to breed because their egg gets spoiled because of cell phone towers. Then there are smart meters, which is also emitting many kind of this EMF, which you should be careful of. Then in medical use, power lines, of course, it is, and in residential or occupational setting, medical use, in factories also, lot of radiation is emitted, and they are, most of the time, they are ignoring these guidelines. In medical use, X-rays, CT scan, radiation therapies, they are under control. They have to use certain protection also when they are using these gadgets, and they have their guidelines, like for radiation, for CT scan, for example, they can take another CT scan after 6 months only when the body's whatever is affected by the radiation emitted by CT scan radiation is totally washed off. Otherwise, it will create a lot of problem, like it affects the cells. Now, nuclear power. Here also, I would say that where nuclear power stations are there, around that area, there are people who are affected by the radiation emitted by that area, that nuclear power station. So most of the power station, they are at the outskirt of the city. It is not inside the city. And people who are residing near the area, they are affected by nuclear radiation, though they are not told about it, but they are affected. So there are evidences that they are suffering from various diseases. Then workplace. Exposure to EMF in workplace is also regulated, but most of the offices and factories, they don't follow the guidelines, but they are supposed to. Then there are EMF in our daily life. By electric current, which is flowing in our home, electric and magnetic fields vary in strength at different times and different locations. Even if there is no current flow, then also electric currents will affect you. The electric field will affect. Magnetic fields are produced by flow of electric current, and therefore, once you switch on the light or switch on the current for the gadget to operate, they will start emitting the magnetic field, which is dangerous to one's human body. So it is very surprising that magnetic field doesn't depend on the size of the gadget. It depends how powerful the device is, right? For example, some hair dryers have a very strong field while others produce hardly any EMF. So that's why it is advised that you buy good product from a good company and check for the EMF radiation also, because they take care so that you are not exposed to these EMF. Most of the products which take approval from the related agencies, whether they have less EMF or high EMF. Then power lines. So power line or this power transmitter, if you live in that area, you are exposed to radiation coming out from the power lines, transformers, and also the walls of your most of the power lines, power transformer reduces this high voltage before it goes into your home or business. Why? They have certain gadgets fixed into that so that it doesn't affect your home or office. The walls, they protect as a shield from the EMF also. Both fields, electric and magnetic, drop off significantly with distance. The further your home is from high voltage power line, the weaker the field. In homes not located near power lines, the background magnetic field may be light. Television and computer screen. Computer and television screen sets work similarly, producing both electric and magnetic field. And nowadays, smart TV also, emit a lot of radiation. And there are different frequencies, but still good quality TV from the good company, they will have LCDs that don't produce significant electric and magnetic field. So it is always advised to go by the better company product, which are a little bit high because their radiation is controlled. So you should have a distance of several feet when you are watching television, because the more closer you are to the screen of the television, it will have more radiation. So you should avoid children going near the TV. Nowadays, I've seen many children going and watching the TV while playing, and they will be sitting very near to the TV. So the radiation affects them in different ways. Health effects are there, whichever the part is, like eyes or their body is so sensitive that they get affected. Then there are wireless devices, for example, Bluetooth without wire, and many of the gadgets which have wireless. This is infrared. They use infrared also, and they use radio frequency energy also. So the company has to use certain guidelines. If you take cheap product, definitely it will affect your health, because they are not going by the guidelines. For wireless devices that operate at 6 gigahertz or less are designed to use near or against the body, like cell phone, tablets, and other portable devices. Now here also, if you take cheaper ones, they will emit more radiation. For example, some cheaper cell phones, they get heated very fast. That time it is said that it is not built according to the guidelines. So you should always check which cell phone you are buying because it is a way of life. So better to buy those cell phones which have low radiation levels. Now, microwave. This is also a controversial subject of object because this object, this microwave, they are used for cooking also. They emit certain radiation, and it is said that most of these, microwave, if they are of low quality, they will emit radiation, which is harmful for us. And they kill the good nutrients in the food. So it is better to avoid use of microwave unless and until it is like from the good company and where they meet the guidelines. Otherwise, you will get some negative impact. Plus, when the microwave is operating, you should be at least away from it, 4 feet away from the microwave oven. Because the radiation which emits from that while it is creating, yes, it happens in the kid. So this creates radiation which is going inside the body, because when the microwave is moving, it is emitting radiation. And when radiation is emitted, if you're near the microwave, you will be absorbing those radiation which might affect you. So even when they are the service person, the person who is installing the microwave, they will say, when the food is being cooked, you stay away at least 4 feet to 6 feet away from the microwave oven. They operate at very high power, so they emit high radiation level also. You must have seen the window of the microwave. It has one layer which protects the radiation to come out of the oven. But of course, some of the radiation comes out. Now, new generation oven has come because oven, when the research came out, oven's sale was dropped. So now new generation ovens have reduced the radiation, but still radiation is there. So better to use normal electric oven. That is very much better. Now you can check this EMF levels in your house with an EMF meter. So these meters are available, but buy only the good quality ones. These handheld devices can be purchased online, and they can measure high frequencies, and their accuracy is generally low. So better buy the EMF this measuring devices from a good company, so that, or you can ask someone who is in the power company who can guide you which one to buy. So ELF field vary from location to location. If you hold your meter to this device, this measuring device to next to the meter, it will show high ELF field or high EMF field. So it depends where it is you are checking. So check at all the points in the house. Okay, so near the TV, there will be more radiation. Near microwave oven and fridge, there will be more radiation. Near your Wi-Fi router, there will be more radiation. So you have to see where the radiation is low. So many researches has been done on what are the symptoms of EMF radiation. I've already told you few of them. Again, I will repeat. Sleep disturbance, including insomnia, when you are unable to sleep at all. Why this happens, and I would like to repeat that you should switch off all the gadgets when you are sleeping. Don't put it on standby mode. Most of you keep it in standby mode. That also emit radiation. Then you get headache, depression, and depressive systems, tiredness and fatigue. Overuse of cell phone and computer definitely increase tiredness and fatigue because you are continuously exposed to radiation coming out from the computer and cell phone. Then there is painful, often itchy sensation, which is called dysesthesia. Then lack of concentration, changes in memory. Then you will be suffering from dizziness. You are irritated all the time. Then you won't be feeling to eat. That is loss of appetite and weight loss. Then you will be feeling restlessness and anxiety. You will be feeling nausea, then skin burning, tingling in your fingers and the skin. So many different symptoms are there. There are more and more symptoms, which I can't say it here, but every individual suffers from one or other symptom from the EMF exposure. Now, how can you protect yourself from EMF exposure? So low to mid EMF, you can, that is from refrigerator, vacuum cleaner to television and computer monitor. So when they are turned off, you will not face any radiation, but what you can do is keep a distance while using these gadgets. Most of the refrigerators are kept in the kitchens and dining room area because you use those areas for lesser duration. In bedroom, it is not kept. Television are kept, computers are kept, so switch off all those things. Then 1 foot should be the distance. Most of the time, I would suggest 1 to 4 feet of distance from the magnetic field surrounding most of the appliances. So you will get less frequency of magnetic force, magnetic fields. Don't sit or linger near appliances. You should not always be sitting there near the television. Open the fridge for a longer time and be watching the when you are baking a cake. You keep on watching the, oh, it is rising or not, it is rising. You should set the timer and move away from the microwave. Then load the washing machine. Washing machine also emit radiation because they use computer. Nowadays, everything is computerized. So when it is loaded, just set it on a timer and move away from the washing machine. Then put your phone down. When you are not using the phone, keep it away from your body. At night, when you sleep, keep it away from you or in another. Because if it is on, it is always working and continuously connecting to the frequencies of the mobile towers. As you know, both phone and mobile towers are connected. And all the time when it is on, it is, giving some signals and some application is going on behind your, when you are not using the phone. So in the background, most of the programs are running and it is continuously emitting radiation. So old cell phones, which had only the calling feature, that is the best. Then don't carry your phone in your pocket, or most of the people, men especially, they carry it on their front pocket, which is very close to their heart area. Heart is emitting magnetic electrical impulses, and it contradicts with the radiation coming out from the cell phone. So it affects the heart also. So, and even in brain, when you are talking, electrical impulses are there in the brain also. So when you speak, it also interrupts uh, the electrical field in your brain. So you should keep it away. And I like those ladies who carry their phone in their purse, in their handbag. So men can also use this. They can always carry their phone in their laptop bag or in their another pouch, which they must be another bag which they must be carrying. Now, high frequency, and of course, you can take a day off from the phone. Sometimes my daughters take it. They won't touch the phone also. For a whole day, they will not be touching the phone. So uh, that is best way to take some break from the phone. Then high frequency EMFs. It can damage DNA. So what you should do? Before also I have told you that there are medical devices, they use radiation in their operation. For example, X-ray machine, imaging machine, that is CT scanner, UV rays from tanning beds, or sun also, they also emit radiation. So you have to minimize the use. When these machines are used, there should be a considerable gap when you are having next scanning done from the CT scan or X-ray machine or imaging machine or anything that is medical instrument. So you should limit those uses and time, and limit your time in the sun. There are many cases of skin cancer because people are exposed to the UV rays. Why? Because nowadays that ozone layer has reduced. When it reduces, the UV harmful UV rays affect your skin and your body. So you should reduce the timing in the sun. Early morning time is best and evening time is best when you can be exposed to lower degree of sun exposure. Now, how you can, reduce these EMFs? There are many things which are off the record and people don't believe in that, but I do believe it. Most of the people who are in holistic field, there you can use it. There are certain crystals, geodes, and there is one, whether you have heard it or not, organ energy generation, which can help reduce the radiation. They absorb the radiations from coming out from these devices and from around us, and they, clear those radiation, control those radiation, sometimes absorb those radiation, and you can see the effects also. So maybe in next talk I will take up about the organ, where we will discover how it can absorb the negativities plus these EMF which is coming out from the various appliances and around our field. Then there are certain carbonated minerals and crystals which helps to absorb these negative radiation, these high level of EMF. So there is a black color crystal, there is tourmaline, there are many other carbonated crystals which are used to, and there are some devices which are being sold by many, and they have been discovered by many people where they are selling these devices which absorb the radiation. But how much it works, that is still a question mark. But again, I would say, with my experience, organs have helped me a lot, and crystals have helped me a lot. Some crystals are very good EMF blockers, and in our next talk, I will definitely show you what are these about. Once you understand the theory behind it, you will be also believing it. Then next is how to, prevent it. Stay away from these appliances, keep distance, and try and, there are covers, there are protective covers which are sold by scientific labs and scientific where they create these, I mean, they are selling these instruments, they sell this protective gears also. For example, with this radioactive machines, CT scan machine, MRI machines and all, you must have seen that the technician is wearing something black. It is all carbonated and special gear which blocks the radiation. But you can't wear it every time. But those people who are working in this field and they have to do the X-rays every time, they will be using this gadget, this particular cover protection shield. Another thing is meditation and practicing any healing modality. This is also one way of keeping yourself protected by, making your body stronger and protective. And, you can create an invisible shield around you through which these kind of electromagnetic fields don't affect you. I am using Reiki and higher level of Reiki, the vibrational level of Reiki, high frequency Reiki, not the normal one. It is more higher frequency level of Reiki. It does help me to protect myself from the radiation because I have noticed, I have observed in myself many changes. So meditation in any form helps you to create a protective layer around you, which minimizes the radiation effects. So this is the, very essential that you should meditate in some way or other. Even 10 minutes of meditation is more than enough. Then you can ask someone to give you protection. Protection means the protection from the EMF through Reiki method or other healing methods, other healing modalities. There are many healing modalities which provide protection. So for continuous protection or when you are going through cancer treatment, I have seen when the person are taking this healing energy, I have seen that their negative effects are minimized. That is, they get nausea, dizziness, and weakness in their body due to radiation. It is minimized. And one of my patients, doctor's sister, has asked her sister to be given healing energy so that her effects of radiation is minimized. Until now, she has come out of the cancer and she is living a normal life. So that time she used to say during the treatment, I used to give her healing and her effects were minimized. So we can't, prove all these things, but there are evidences that these things do help you in minimizing the radiations around you. Even when a person is going through a treatment, there are many testimonials where they say that, yes, their effects, whatever they were suffering from, it has been minimized. It doesn't, clear it off completely, but it does give you some protection. So whenever you feel that you need some healing or protection of any sort in this field, in spiritual line, or because it has scientific basis also. So I have written a paper on its effects also. So it was presented in international forum and they have accepted that, yes, there is some kind of energy which protects, which transmit from the healer to the receiver. And there are instruments where you can measure the EMF also, because this is very low frequency level of transmission. There are some instruments where you can measure. So again, this is off the record, like many people may agree, many people may not agree, but there are experiences and evidences that it works. So on the whole, I would like to conclude. I think so I will go on and on saying so many things about EMF. So on the final note, I would say stay away from all these electronic and electromagnetic field devices for some time and take care while using them. Cell phone also have some evidences that it creates tumors, but it is not being, it doesn't have much of evidence to prove it, because some people get it and some people don't get it. So there are instances of effects. There are instances where people are using for years and they didn't get affected. So it is just like that, that your body system is, so strong that it doesn't affect. But still, stay careful while using these electronic gadgets all around you. It is spread out over the over whole of your house, and take care and stay safe. So thank you very much for listening patiently for this article that I'm discussing, this topic that I'm discussing with you, which is a burning topic, and take care. So take care of it. And if you need any help of any kind in healing system or any advice regarding these gadgets, you can connect to me. Thank you very much. Namaste. Anyone who have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. How many times I have to say, but it's not going. Yes. And I just want to acknowledge here, you did
Yes.
this for me and for my husband. That time he was in such a sorry state, and I was thinking what is going wrong. And he's totally all right, gained his weight, walking nicely. And it so happened that now I understand the power of healing. And you are really a medium and actually a spiritual healer. So I want to acknowledge on this platform. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that it helped you. Anyone else who have any question? Thank you so much, Minaji. And of course, whenever you need healing, you can always connect to me. Anyone else who have any question? So anyone who has cancer or undergoing this particular radiation therapy, they should connect to any Reiki healer or any other similar kind of healing modality that will help them to overcome this side effects of radiation therapy. So there are known cases, and if you open the internet, you will see loads of testimonials and many research of the record. They have recorded that yes, it affects and it minimizes the radiation therapy of the people who are undergoing cancer treatment. So on this note, be safe and take care while using these electronic devices in your household. With this note, I will take leave. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow. Or if anyone is joining in Spiritual Fest, they are most welcome to join